It is 11 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Nicole Pine. We're going to be going ahead and discussing how to prioritize today. And my name is Nicole Pine. Like I said, I am a master's clinical social work student here at FSU, and I am with the OAS this summer. So, what is prioritizing? Prioritizing allows you to give your attention to tasks that are considered important and urgent while focusing on low priority tasks for a later time. Creating priorities is necessary to complete everything that needs to be done. And if you create a to-do list and prioritize it, your productivity, sense of accomplishment, and confidence level can raise to a whole new level. So this kind of goes along with time management, but when you prioritize, like let's say, for example, you have a discussion board that's due today versus a paper that's due maybe, 5 days from now, and it's only like 2 pages. You would want to do the discussion board today because it's a priority because of the time that it's due, whereas since your paper is due at a different time, you would focus on that later. So prioritizing is difficult. One of the reasons why it feels so difficult is because with ADHD, you want to do everything at once. Everything seems like a priority, everything is important. And usually it's because students either feel like they have a lot to do all at once and they want to catch up on things, or they just want to get started with the whole process in general. But since you do have to focus on one task at a time, you are forced to leave other tasks unintended. And it's okay, because if you multitask, it can create a sense of panic and you're not sure where to begin in the first place. And you may second guess yourself. And if you try to do everything at once, you may feel guilty about not being able to attend to everything all at the same time. So it can seem really overwhelming in the beginning, but once you get into the habit of prioritizing, things will get easier in time. It won't seem as overwhelming. And when you do prioritize and do one thing at each time, it really increases your motivation when you can mark off the thing that you accomplished and move on to the next step, because it encourages you to keep on going. Another reason why it can feel difficult is because it may seem like there's absolutely no time to prioritize. As a student, right now you have a lot on your plate. You are dealing with school, some of you may be dealing with work, you may have a social life, you want to hang out with friends and family, or you just may want to focus on yourself, and that's totally fine. It's good to have self-care. But since you feel like there's so many things you need to attend to, it may just seem like there's no right time or place to start prioritizing. But, and also another thing, people might say, I wish I had the time to prioritize. That would be a luxury. And you may want to put it off at a different time to start, but it's like, when will that day come where you actually sit down and make the effort to prioritize? So it really is hard to get to that initial step of doing it. But that's why, once you get in there, things will get a little bit easier. So kind of going along with the last slide, trying to decide when to start. Decision making is tough. When you prioritize, you have to say no to some things and yes to others, and it can be really difficult, especially if it's something you don't really want to do in the first place. For example, you have to make the decision of, am I going to go hang out with my friends today, or should I start this paper? Or, should I watch my favorite show, or should I actually attend my Zoom class? And what I'm guilty of, I do like to look at my Facebook a lot, and I think a lot of people do like to go on social media. So it's like, should I spend time on social media? Even though I know that there's like a huge pile of laundry. Laundry is like my least favorite thing to do. So that's why there's this wave of clothes attacking a girl because, I just kind of let everything pile up sometimes. So that's something I personally need to work on. And it can be really difficult deciding what you should and shouldn't do, especially if you see your other friends and family members having a good time and you want to join with them. But prioritizing is necessary when you're in college because once you get that done, it could end up leading to free time later on. Now, you also want to be realistic about things. You want to know how long a task is going to take, and it would be easier to organize your tasks so you can have a clear visual of all the things that you need to do. If you aren't realistic about the time and everything you need to do on your agenda, you may think that you can get more done in a day than possible. So it is in the time management presentation that we did, we talked about time awareness. So this is where it's really important for you to time out how long it takes for you to do tasks and obviously go from most important to least urgent, because then you can get an idea of how much time you have throughout the day and how much time can be allocated towards certain things. Now, one thing you don't want to do is prioritize by default. And what I mean by this is, we're creatures of habit. You want to complete things the way you usually complete them. You may not want to prioritize. So by doing that, sometimes people will pick the smallest things to do on their list. Even though there's more important things, people will feel still accomplished, if they get the smallest thing done. And even though you did finish that task, it does take away time that could be going towards more important things. So that's when you kind of have to have a little bit of self-reflection and say, am I just trying to avoid the more important things by doing the smallest thing or the easiest thing first? So that's something to think about. And then a lot of people are guilty of saying, you know what, I'll put it off to later. I'll focus on it another time. But what happens if you're never in the mood to complete the task that you're supposed to do? And when I was looking at this, it made me think of taxes, because as an adult, people gotta do taxes. It's like, you never feel like you want to do it, but time comes where you do have to. And kind of like, school assignments too. I understand people don't want to do school assignments, but you do need to get at least a little bit done each time at a certain day so that you can go ahead and turn it in. Now, the Eisenhower Matrix. And what this is, when you're prioritizing, it's important to view what you have planned for the day and decide what tasks you're going to complete first. This tool will help you rate tasks based on important and time sensitivity. So what it is, it's just this 4-quadrant box right here. This goes by urgent, not urgent, and important to not important. So quadrant 1, those are tasks that absolutely need to be done on your to-do list. So let's say earlier I was talking about discussion board. If the discussion board is due today, that's definitely something that's going to be in quadrant 1. That's something that you need to focus on. Now, things that are important and not as urgent, these are things that you can decide when to do it. So let's say a 5-page paper that's due in a week and a half or so. So it is important, but it may not be as urgent at this moment in time. So instead of doing it today, it's like, okay, you can work on it a little bit today, maybe a little bit tomorrow. So you're going to do chunking of assignments, which means you're going to get the assignment and break it down into smaller pieces so you're not trying to do everything all at once. So, there's a little bit more leeway when it comes to things as that. Then delegate it. Now, delegating means putting the responsibility onto somebody else or utilizing a service that will give you more free time. So a good example would be maybe, you have a roommate and you guys need to go grocery shopping. Well, instead of you grocery shopping, maybe if you talk to your roommate, they can do the grocery shopping for you, and you guys can figure out how to, split the bill. Maybe you send them some money, but they can do the grocery shopping for you so that you can go ahead and spend more time on assignments while they're out and about. Now, Quadrant 4, what this is stuff, it's not important. It doesn't have a sense of urgency. This could be something like, maybe watching TV, playing video games. And even though those are maybe self-care activities for you, just right now they're not at the top of your list because you do need to focus on those other things first. And lastly, you do want to reward yourself, and this is where the self-care is coming in. And it's important to do it because, you do a lot of hard work in college and life in general, and life has its challenges and everybody needs a break at some point. So after completing a task, maybe play a little bit of video games, do some yoga, eat a healthy snack, do whatever makes you happy. It's all based on individual preference. But it is important to give yourself some slack once in a while. And something I want to show you guys. So on here, there's lots of apps that people can utilize to help with prioritizing and time management. And one that is free that I look at is really helpful is My Homework Student Planner. Okay, so this, like I said, is completely free, but it does help you map out what items you need to do that day, for that week. It can even give you the whole month outlook of it, and it'll send you reminders of stuff that's due soon, and you can make notes of what's most important to what's the least urgent. And also, even though this was discussed in time management, it's really important to utilize your Outlook calendar. So when you utilize your Outlook calendar, and it'll be connected to your FSU email, you can put all the tasks that you need to do for that specific day. And every time a task is about to be due, you'll hear a ringing notification. And I've had a really good experience with that because sometimes I have a meeting and I don't remember because I'm so focused on the thing that I'm working on at the moment, and it'll make the ringing sound and I'm like, oh my gosh, it says I have a meeting in the next 10 minutes or so. But I would definitely look at different apps, or you can Google different ways that you can prioritize in a planner. And it is good to bring a planner with you, whether you're going to class or just something to have in your purse, book bag, whatnot, because it gives you a visual of things that you need to get done. And like I said, you can cross off things that you mark off to give you more encouragement and motivation. But when you have that visual and when you actually write things down, you're going to remember the tasks better compared to just, having a calendar in your phone. Granted, everybody's different. They have their own preferences, but people can tend to remember tasks a little bit better if they actually write it down themselves. And if you guys ever need help with prioritizing, time management, if you feel like you can't talk to us at the OAS office, which you're more than welcome to all the time, we can help you with that. You can also utilize ACE. That's the Academic Center for Excellence, and they have personal academic consultants. And what they do, they specialize in helping students reach those goals, and they call those executive functioning skills. So it is really important to utilize their resources, and I can show you really quick how to find them. So you're going to go to fsu.ace, I believe. Yeah, so ace.fsu.edu, I'm sorry. And then you're going to go to Academic Center for Excellence. and it's going to give you all the information about how they can help you at tutoring, civic literacy, and right here, the personal academic consultants, and topics: time management, learning styles of memory, reading strategies, general study skills. And right here it says, if you're a student, you can call them at 850-645-0852. Or, you can shoot them an email as well. Like, we're all happy to help you. There's a lot of resources on campus, and we just always want you guys to succeed. And if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to email or call the OAS. And I'm really glad you attended this skills group meeting today. And I look forward to seeing you for, Thursday and Fridays. I hope you have a great rest of the day.